Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new Idontworkherelady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, It's a Beautiful Day for a Train Ride. Right, so this took place way back in 2007 when I was in my early 20s, working full-time at an auto parts store. I drove a white 1982 Nissan Pulsar. It was ancient but no complaints. Relevant, I promise. It's 7 a.m., I'm driving to work one morning and pull up at a crosswalk to allow a dog walker to pass me. Without warning, my passenger door opens and a gentleman hops in next to me, nods, says a friendly hello and buckles his seatbelt. He was a sweet-faced, white-haired senior wearing a sweater and brown pants. Definitely in his 80s. I stared in shock and stumbled my words, totally bewildered by what was happening. He saw my expression and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. The train station, please." That's when I saw the taxi rank near the crosswalk. Taxis here are white but definitely not hatchbacks, like my car was. He had a big cheery smile and, still puzzled, I realized that the local train station was 2 streets away from where I worked. I was heading past there anyway. And he didn't seem like an axe murderer, so why not? I relaxed a little, shrugged and said, sure thing. We drove off together and he peered out the window, smiling. He said, "You taxis are much quicker these days. It's a beautiful day for a train ride, don't you think?" He looked at me, still with this big smile and said, "I'm Jerry, lovely to meet you. I'm meeting my friend for breakfast today. I'm so excited. I haven't been on the train in years. All my friends have passed on and I don't really need to go out of town. Well, not until I made a new friend recently. It's funny how life goes, isn't it? An old codger like me with a breakfast date. Can you imagine?" "Oh well, that sounds lovely, Jerry. Where are you off to?" He cheerily described the town he was visiting, an hour away by train, and described the store he wanted to visit while he was there. We chatted the whole way and I was so taken by how upbeat and cheerful he was. We pulled into the offloading zone outside the train station and he pulled out his wallet. I jumped in, saying, "Oh no charge mate, I don't have my meter working yet." Telling a lie was better than deflating his happy spirit with an embarrassing situation. He was chuffed. It was a chilly morning. I walked him to the ticket office, where there was a heated waiting room he could sit in until his train arrived. He thanked me, smiled and said, "It's a beautiful day for a train ride. You take care now." "Take care, Jerry." It's been 11 years and I often find myself smiling when I remember him. The next story is titled, There Was a Fire. No, you can't have a cheeseburger. I am a fire investigator for insurance companies. A few days ago I was at a fire at a super common fast food restaurant helping another investigator process the scene and dig. All the fun parts of my job without any of the responsibility or report writing. It was so cold if you farted too wet your ass hair would freeze. So I was in black coveralls and my black Carhartt with a baseball hat and a regular N95 mask because fires and fast food restaurants are gross, ya know? I looked in no way like a restaurant employee. Even with the black clothes you could tell I was covered in soot and debris, and what restaurant employee wears an N95 that's been stained black? I was standing outside in the parking lot with another investigator that was there and we were chatting, taking a break from being in the grossness from inside. The parking lot has been filled with debris. On one end of the parking lot there's a 9-foot tall pile of random burnt crap. On the other end of the parking lot in front of the drive-thru are all the roof ventilation systems that are half burnt and melted in a big pile along with a whole assortment of burnt crap. There's caution tape everywhere. There is fire debris haphazardly strewn throughout the area. There's a very visible hole burnt in the top of this building. There's a goddamn fire engine parked at one entrance of the parking lot with their lights on blocking the entrance. There was no way to misunderstand what had happened at this building. A man in an old van drives by with his window down slowly staring at us. He has this inquisitive look on his face. He drives past the first entrance, then attempts to turn into the entrance blocked by the fire engine. He backs out, turns around, then turns back into the other entrance, headed right for us. I say us, the other investigator wisely caught on to what was about to happen and whispered, "Good luck," and hauled ass back inside, leaving me alone with Van Guy. Ducker. Anyway, Van Guy drives around the big ass pile of ash and stops in front of me. He says, "Hey, what happened here?" I replied for what feels like the millionth time in my career, "There was a fire." He says, "Oh, what started it?" And for the millionth time I replied, "That's what we're here to find out." He says, "Oh, okay. Well, can I have a cheeseburger and a medium fry?" Trying very hard to not say what I truly wanted to say, which was some variation of, "Idiot, do I look like a fast food worker?" I told him that no, there was a fire, you can't have a cheeseburger. He then proceeded to ask, "Well, can I have a large Coke then?" Again, no, there was a fire, you can't have a ducking Coke. You know how you can see when someone has a moment where they have a moment and it finally clicks? This guy had that. He looks at me and asks very intently if I work there. I say no, I'm here investigating the fire. He then asks, and I'll never forget it, "So they're closed. But why?" Feeling like I've met the universe's densest star, I replied, "Because there was a fire." He finally just says, "Oh, okay. Well, bye," and just drives away and out of my life. I'm still not sure he truly understood why he couldn't have his food. I walk back inside and the a-hole who had left me there to deal with Jacques Clouseau himself is standing there and just asks how it went. Because I work with a-holes. The next story is titled, "I'm Not a Client Here, Lady." This happened over 10 years ago, but reading all these stories made me remember this horrific experience. It's not exactly retail, but I think it's worth telling. As a high schooler, my school made you do a work-study day. Super mandatory. I thought I could do a work-study at the job I already had, vet's office, but found out the day before that that wasn't allowed. Luckily my dad was able to get me into a shadowing position at some branch of his company. I show up and am put into the care of Veronica, the program director. I'm supposed to shadow her working for the Adult Community Outreach Program, Homeless Services, Healthcare Services, Mental Health Services, the works. Veronica is immediately very irritated. She has to babysit me. Tells me to go clean the bathroom and shower. No, and they are used by the shelter residents, so double no. Leaves me with a questionably safe male client in the lobby. Mostly wanted to talk about the Order of the Black Sun, thankfully. Insults my intelligence, makes me sit in on a caseworker's counseling session with a client, where I get to hear the riveting story of how he jumped a fence and broke his penis, and I was basically treated like garbage the entire time. I couldn't figure out why until I asked her to sign my form saying I put up with all this crap. Version. Sure. Take it back to school for your little skills program. I don't know why you kids in youth program name shadow here, you're all on drugs. Oh crap. She thinks I'm shadowing here as a client of the youth version of this program. As I stand there, dumbfounded, holding my form and pencil out, she glances out the office window as a car pulls up. Version. Oh great, why's he here? Me. Who? Version. Sean, the CEO. He's always on my ass about something or another. Sean is my dad. I let her drone on and insult my dad alongside all of their youth clients who I'm feeling really ducking sorry for. And I wait until my dad walks past reception and is walking towards her office. Me. Hi Dad. I run up and give him a hug. Dad. Hi, kiddo. I turn around to face Veronica with the biggest crap-eating grin on my face and watch her go ghost white. Dad. Did you have fun today? Me. Uh-huh. My dad thanks Veronica for letting me shadow her and we go to the car. I immediately go full tattletale mode like a ducking 4-year-old because holy crap woman. The kids from the program are shadowing you because they want to choose a career path to help others like themselves. And you treat them like that? What the duck? Veronica works at a hotel now. The next story is titled, Idontworkherelady, but thanks for the shirt. My boss lady told me this one. She went to an outlet mall for Black Friday shopping, and told me this one today. TW equals that woman BL, boss lady. TW. Excuse me, do you have more of these? BL ignores her, continuing to look through the rack. TW literally throws this sweater across the rack and into my boss lady's face. TW. I ducking asked you a question and you can answer me right now. BL. Thanks. Deciding to just buy this sweater only to irritate this lady, and leave the store. After checking out, TW is screaming over the crowd, "Stop. What the hell are you think you're going with my sweater?" Runs after BL and grabs her bag, screaming like a madwoman and slapping at BL, calling her all sorts of things. And insisting she gets fired. My boss just kept saying, "WTF, I don't work here. Get away," etc. Security shows up to pull the lady away, and she scratched at their face. TW gets restrained, falls to the floor and tries to fake a seizure, saying, "You're making me have a seizure, call 911. Police show up, and the madwoman is loaded into the back of the car, and she spits on the window. My boss made her statement, and wore the sweater to work today. It's her new favorite. The next story is titled, I Scream Bloody Murder in a Store to Get a Karen to Leave Me Alone. One day, I was shopping at the local Walmart and had my headphones in. These headphones are incredibly nice and a gift from my parents. I had just gotten off work and was in business casual, khakis and a plain gray polo. No logo. Nothing to indicate that I worked at Walmart. I was looking in the freezer section for some ice cream for dessert that night when someone yanked my headphones off my head and they fall on the ground. Cue Karen starting to yell at me. I have been trying to get your attention for 5 minutes. You shouldn't be listening to music while you work. How can you help customers if you can't even hear them? She screeched at me. Now I am seeing red. If she damaged my headphones, there was going to be hell to pay. I lean down to pick up my headphones and I say to this crazy idiot, "Don't you ever ducking touch me, you crazy idiot. I don't ducking work here, you stupid duck. Touch me again and I will scream so loud the whole store will hear. Don't you talk to me like that. I am a customer," she said as she grabbed my bicep to haul me to a manager like a child to be punished. So I let her have it. I screamed the loudest scream I could possibly imagine. I actually lost my voice for the next day because of it. It startled her so bad that she let me go and dropped her purse. Not even 20 seconds later, a manager comes running with the security guy. The manager demanded to be told what was going on. I told him this crazy idiot assaulted me. She tore my headphones off my head and grabbed me. I feared for my life, a complete embellishment, so I screamed. By now we have an audience, and the manager takes us both and separates us. Luckily for me, a very nice woman was a little farther down the aisle and saw the whole thing and told the security guy what happened and backed up my story. The manager asked if I wanted to press charges and I told him no. I just want my ice cream and to go home. He told me to take it. It was on him. As I was leaving, I saw the crazy idiot getting thrown out of Walmart by the security guy and being told to never set foot in the store again. The next story is titled, I'm not robbing this house and I'm not a gardener either. This is my own house. We moved into a new house a few years ago. 2 days after we get settled in, it's a gorgeous day, so I'm out tending the garden. If you live in Louisiana, you'll realize that nice days are few and far in between. It's hot and muggy. About 30 minutes after I start, this woman walks beside the house. She compliments my garden and asks how much my services cost. So I told her, "Ma'am, I don't do services." About this time my husband walks out and puts something into the car. So all's perfectly fine, right? No. This woman decides to call the police and tell them we are robbing the place. I don't know if her watching my husband caused that thinking as he was pulling stuff out of the house and into the vehicle or what. We were new neighbors, moved in like a few days prior, so you'd think she would have seen us moving. 3 cops show up a few minutes after she left. We didn't know she called the cops. They pull up while both of us are wondering what the hell happened. Maybe someone we knew died or our kid got arrested. Neither. They said we were called in as an active burglar. We had to prove it was ours. She didn't even talk to us about or mention robbery. Although I guess in the moment she just lost it. People are crazy here. The next story is titled, I Don't Work Here Lady. Disneyland Edition. So me and my GF took a trip to Disneyland Paris a few years ago as our first holiday together. We were having an awesome time in the parks etc. But one day was incredibly busy, so we decided instead of queuing hours for rides we would do some souvenir shopping instead for a bit. We are in a store in Disneyland browsing various mugs, fridge magnets, plush toys, the general overpriced stuff. When a very sweet English woman asked me if I could help her across the store as I'm a tall guy 6'4", I said, yeah, that's fine. I get it at home in supermarkets all the time, so no biggie. Turns out her daughter wanted a specific Winnie the Pooh toy that was at the top of a huge pile of plushes. I gladly grabbed it down for her and gave it to the little girl who was over the moon. This is where things got strange. A fairly young French lady moved over to me chatting in French and gesturing at a shelf with some glasses on it. I speak a tiny bit of French, but definitely not enough to know what she wanted, so I politely told her sorry, I speak English and I'm not an employee. I was wearing jeans and a wine-colored hoodie, which is not even remotely close to Disney cast members' uniforms. The French lady stormed off and I thought that was that. I went and found my GF and we were looking at some gift ideas for our families, when from right behind me I heard a woman say, "This is him," in English but with a French accent. I turned around to see the aforementioned French lady who had dragged an actual employee over to me to give me a scolding. Her accent was very heavy, but she said something along the lines of, "He helped someone but not me. Workers should be trained better." The actual Disney employee immediately could see I was a guest at the park, apologized and led the woman away. All we could hear from the other side of the store was the French lady shouting and getting very irate. I assume she was removed from the store. Anyway, me and my GF took a couple of Minnie and Mickey Mouse mugs to the register to pay for, and the employee who sorted the situation was on the next register. She said, "Please wait there." She toddled off and came back a couple minutes later with a stuffed Luke Skywalker Mickey Mouse and a stuffed Princess Leia Minnie Mouse for my GF. "These are for you as way of an apology, it's not necessary, was just a misunderstanding," I said, but she insisted, so we got some pretty cool free souvenirs, thanks. Angry French lady. The next story is titled, Karen is shut down by my uniform. It was hot last week, 33°C, 91°F, but felt like 42°C, 108°F. I had some birthday party items to pick up for a work-related function. I was in my summer uniform, shirt, no jacket, and I went to Walmart because they've got a decent party section and fantastic AC. I found my way to the right section and chatted briefly with a sales associate. I started gathering the supplies I needed and putting them in my cart. I pulled one item, and that caused a cascade of everything else behind it to fly onto the floor. My mother always taught me that if you make a mess, clean it up. So I squat down and start putting the stuff I spilled back on the shelf. Then from over my right shoulder, I hear, ahem. I kept putting the stock back. Shame on me for not responding. I hear a voice that's somewhere between the caw of a crow and the rasp of a 30-year, 2-pack-a-day smoking habit. I'm talking to you. Stop stocking the shelves and tell me where the art supplies are. I turned my head, and there before me was a vision standing, 40-ish, with an asymmetrical haircut, laden with gold-colored jewelry, colored because there were green marks around her neck, in a pink sports bra and short shorts made of this amazingly strong synthetic knit fabric. She obviously firmly believed one size does indeed fit all, but missed the part about it shouldn't. I said to this woman, one of God's own very special creations, "I'm sorry, I'm Canadian, but I don't." Cut off. You're a manager. Tell me where the art supplies are. I rephrased. I don't work here. Can't help you. She wanted to talk to my boss, and threatened to call corporate to let them know their managers are lying about working there to avoid helping customers. Then she launched into a string of invective worthy of a longshoreman. So I stood up and turned to face her. She was struck dumb. Her mouth was moving but no sound was coming out, and she had gone pale under her shoe leather tan. Now to be fair, I was wearing a light blue shirt and dark gray dress pants. But it's my uniform that made the difference. I have a white-collar type of job. I am the chaplain at a medium security prison, the chaplain for a group of World War II veterans, and the chaplain for a group of Afghan war veterans being treated for post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSS. This last group is the one I was shopping for. You know you've been hanging around military veterans when cursing doesn't even faze you anymore. So, there I was in my light blue shirt with my clerical collar. I asked her, "Do you kiss your children with that potty mouth?" Then I told her that corporate doesn't have a phone, but if she wanted to talk to my boss, she could do so directly on Sunday at the church just a few blocks away from the Walmart. By this time, her vocal cords had recovered, but the only sound coming out was a cross between a squeaky door hinge and a chicken that just laid an egg. I turned and pushed my cart down the aisle toward the checkout. The sales associate I spoke with earlier was just around the corner. Apparently he came back to the aisle to see what the screeching was about and had seen the ending. He was doubled over with silent laughter, holding his sides. All he could do was mouth, "Thank you." And I was off, a man on a mission. The next story is titled, "No, really, school is completely closed." I am on the janitorial team that was sanitizing our public school buildings during the cancellations last week. Monday I arrived for my first day and I was tackling an auditorium. It was no secret that schools were closed. It was on the news, there were signs on the doors. I think the city even sent a text alert about it to anyone signed up for municipal notifications. And the school absolutely sent emails. But as I'm beginning to clean, with my cart and my janitorial uniform, a woman comes in with two kids, 5 and 7-ish. I say, "Hi, I'm sorry, the school is closed for the rest of the," and she cuts me off and says, yeah, I know, but this is the daycare service, right?" "No." "What?" "No. I'm just a member of the cleaning crew." "Well, where's the daycare?" "There." "What?" "I don't think there is one, we're sanitizing every room today." "You could go to the office and ask, but I didn't see anyone in there, it's really just us." "Oh great, so you're in charge. I'll be back at 2:15? Right?" "I'm not in charge of anything. You'll need to go to the office, or probably, go home actually. I don't think there's any kind of service." "What are you talking about? They wouldn't just cancel school without a daycare service for working parents." "Where's your boss?" "My boss is also a janitor, trust me, they cannot help you." Now at this point the kids had begun to run around the gym, which meant I'd have to resanitize whatever they'd touched. So I said, more firmly, "You need to go, I'm not supposed to let people in here during cleaning." At this point I wasn't sure if she was messing with me or if she really didn't know. She seemed busy, she had a cell phone in one hand and no hands on the kids. Without looking up she says, "Well, you should have cleaned before the kids started to arrive, shouldn't you?" I'm starting to wonder if I'm the crazy one at this point. There are no kids arriving. I'm cleaning. The school is closed. I know school is closed. That's why I'm leaving them in the daycare. And just like that, she was off. I was calling after her, "Hey, excuse me. Lady, you cannot leave kids in here." I didn't know what to do about it, so I took the kids to my boss and asked what we needed to do. The boss said, "So they just left these kids here? Why didn't you tell her the school was closed? Who doesn't know that by now?" I explained that I did tell her and she either was so checked out she didn't understand or she chose to ignore me. So the boss said, "This is all way too risky. We can't keep an eye on them and there are dangerous products and who knows why she left them here. We don't need this problem. Better call whoever you call about kids with no one to watch them." Cops? We also had one of the janitors trying to get a name and number off the kids, but they didn't really know. But we have a few undocumented immigrants on the crew and a couple others who would have just been nervous to have cops buzzing around the workplace, so we Googled it and ended up calling a child services hotline. Ultimately a social worker came, and with cops, but they didn't bother anyone though. Just focused on the kids. The cops went through the kids' bags and found their last name on a school binder and found a number to call. They got the kid's father who was irate. They had the conservation on speakerphone, so I caught bits and pieces. "What do you mean, they're where? Aren't schools closed?" And he was there within 10 minutes. I guess he called his wife for an explanation during that time because she arrived not too soon afterwards. The cops and social worker were lecturing them and the woman was like, I left them with a childcare worker in the drop-off area. And they reiterated there was no daycare and they had no idea what she was talking about. So to that point, I thought, okay, I guess she's just really, really dumb. Then the cops let them go with a warning about understanding where they're leaving their kids and with whom. But as they were leaving, the woman sneered at my boss, was it really such a big deal that you had to call the police? So, now I wonder whether she was trying to pull a fast one on us or if she was just that stupid. The world may never know. But I still laugh at the story. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.